What's up, y'all? It's your boy Sean P back again with another edition of Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. So tonight, I'm gonna pick up where we left off as my last review, which was J. Cole's Port Antonio. Now we're gonna look at a couple of reactions towards Port Antonio, which really has been a polarizing song online since J. Cole dropped it last week. There have been a lot of mixed opinions and feelings about this, from the song is sheer lyrical genius, showing that J. Cole is definitely needs to be considered as the best MC in the game, to more of like a take that I shared with you guys that it just seems real passive aggressive. And how many days later or a week later since it's dropped, I did some more listening to Port Antonio, and I'm kind of perplexed by this song. I don't really know what to make of it. Still, it's weird. And the more I listen to it, the more I realize that J. Cole is all over the place on this. And he really is kind of disingenuous and fake towards his attitude in this song. But before I get to that, I'm going to get to a few takes from the team over at According to Hip Hop. Mike D, shout out Mike D, shout out According to Hip Hop. And they had, all three of them had some mixed reviews on it as far as liking the record, but there's a but. The content was kind of contradictory, So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a reaction video tonight. I'll stop when I stop to explain, a little bit about their takes and where I see agree or disagree with their views, because it's interesting. This review that they had kind of had two different takes as to what they thought about the song. So I'm going to stop certain points and pick up, as far as any opinions that I have about it, and we'll go from there. So let me share my screen for According to Hip Hop review of J. Cole's Port Antonio. So let's do that. All right, good. Okay, let's go.
What up, Mike D checking in here. I want to talk about J. Cole's Port Antonio record. J. Cole killed it on the track, but not understanding where he's coming from and the fact that he's acting as if he was a peacemaker when he actually put together diss records that were aimed towards Kendrick. And he put together a mixtape that had a lot of records on there that sound like they could have been going the same person out. Could have been competitive hip hop. I get that. And competitive hip hop is great. I think that, that's what Drake and Kendrick exhibited in this situation is competitive hip hop. And that's where it starts. And that's where, it should finish. But I think that J. Cole is kind of creating a narrative that, again, the whole Michael Jackson reference, like Michael Jackson beat it, kind of keeping the peace between two people who could be, unified. Now, are we talking about those guys being unified moving forward? I don't know. He didn't say anything about that. And see, my thing is when it comes to Drake, all those people that were coming to Drake, from Rick Ross to Future to Metro to The Weeknd to the whole ASAP Rocky thing. I said on the show not too long ago, I thought it was weird that J. Cole made a record with ASAP Rocky with the timing that was going on here. I would have liked to have heard him say something about unifying on the ASAP Rocky record, because those two guys have issues too, right? So if this was about being a peacemaker, there's a lot of ways that you could have been a peacemaker and still allow, Drake and Kendrick to be competitive. I mean, if we're being honest here, we're trying to be objective about how the whole thing has gone down, all the way to Kanye and everything. This seems like a concerted effort from many individuals, a host of individuals, to take Drake down a notch. And I think that the whole peacemaker notion or concept, it works if this was just Kendrick and Drake, and if this was something that you were pushing for to be resolved between those two friends of yours moving forward. But A, that doesn't seem to be happening, and B, all the other people out there that was coming at your guy, Drake, that is, you're not saying anything about them. You're not telling any of them to stand down and chill and, work things out in another way. That's where I'm at with it. Now, I'm going to expound upon this record a little bit more on Monday's show, but I did want to check in for the weekend rhyme and kind of, let you guys know some of.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. So Mike D, and shout out to According to Hip Hop, a very good, well done hip hop blog and hip hop YouTube channel. Check that out when you can. He kind of got the vibe that, Cole was trying to piece it up. He was trying to say, this kind of beef is kind of silly. And he alludes to that the beef and the battle turned into, an internet, internet roasting war between fan bases, and it kind of went overboard. You know what I mean? But again, Mike brings up some good points that if you really want unity and peace in hip hop, why did you go and do the records with Daylight, which he didn't mention, or ASAP Rocky, who clearly, Daylight's in Kendrick's camp or aligned with Kendrick, and ASAP Rocky is directly beefing with Drake. You know what I mean? And it goes back to this kind of, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if J. Cole is trying to make peace. I don't know if he's trying to criticize Drake or give him a pat on the back, some inspiration to get back to making, great music. I don't even know if really this was just some more sub shots towards Kendrick. Because let's be honest here. J. Cole, after Like That, threw out the first official salvo to Kendrick Lamar. People are so overlooking the fact that he really was the first shot across the bow with 7-minute drill. So I'm kind of like Mike, like I'm kind of confused. Like with Port Antonio, what's your goal with this song, man? What's your real goal with it? And the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, why? You know what I mean? This is how you want to roll out Fall Off, with a passive aggressive type of attitude towards peace and really saying this beef was really corny and internet driven. I really don't understand that. So I kind of co-sign with Mike on that. But let's get a few more takes from the According to Hip Hop crew as far as what they thought about Port Antonio. I'm going to have a lot to say on what these guys have to say because I don't agree with their stance at all. But anyway, let's check it out.
Well, that was Mike D's thoughts on Port Antonio. Now, for those that don't know, Port Antonio is it's a place in Jamaica where a lot of people record records. So a lot of cats recorded records down there. I think Rihanna's recorded down there. Right. I think Diplo, Drake's recorded down there. So I assume this is where J. Cole's recording his album in Port Antonio. Okay. So the album, I believe, is coming. This might be with the first offering from the Fall Off.
Right.
And my review quickly before you go is that I thought the song was pretty dope. It was vintage J. Cole. It is also, exposes the fact that he out of the big three, the self-proclaimed big three or so-called big three, he's the most talented bar for bar. I mean, if you listen to his
I
wordplay,
keep hearing people say that.
the way he, approaches the beat, the different styles that he can attack it with, his flows, his rhyme patterns, his schemes, his double entendres, his metaphors, all of the whole package. If you think about it, you'll say Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, and say that's the big three. Clearly, he's the most talented MC of the bunch. So
I want to stop it right there. Just to mention, these guys are kind of J. Cole fans. And I remember this one guy before when the battle didn't even jump off. He said, I'm definitely team Cole on this one. Now, I want to address as he said that Cole's the most talented MC out of all three of them. I disagree with that. I think Kendrick's the best. I think J. Cole really is the second best. But I still, as far as checking all the boxes, lyrical skill, hits, classic albums, I mean, classic wordplay, flows, etc., etc. Kendrick checks all of those boxes. It took J. Cole literally most of a decade to get to where he was really mentioned in the big three. I know he put out Forest Hills Drive and all of that, but J. Cole was kind of looked at as a distant third for a long time. Now with his feature run, he's upped his wordplay, he's upped his lyrical skill. He's closer to Kendrick. But and I want to go on with this because if you put your name out there as being the best, and then you withdraw your name and say you don't want to battle your competition, who's the best, which you already came out with 7-Minute Drill on, I can't see you as being the top MC in the game because you bowed out. You cowered against competition. And we'll get more into that because they try to explain this about how, well, just because you're the best MC doesn't mean you have to battle everybody. I don't agree with that fully. But we'll go on. Let's go on to see what they have to say.
Right. Every man's got to walk his own path. I wouldn't have done what the moves that he did, but he has to make the moves he wants to make. So I'm not going to excoriate him for that. I wouldn't have done it. I have an opinion on it. I think it was, I think you can battle people without it getting personal. I think you can make, doing the dozens, crack a few jokes here and there. I think Might Delete Later was a record that had a lot of diss records, subliminals and direct shots at Kendrick.
I want to stop it there for a minute. That's another interesting point. Port Antonio, I put it this way, and this is my opinion on this. You can call it for what you want. J. Cole was definitely felt a way about Kendrick saying, fuck the big three, it's just big me. He did on Might Delete Later have sub shots towards Kendrick. You know what I mean? And 7-Minute Drill that he removed from the album. He was subbing Kendrick that whole album, flat out. And again, this is where it comes back to the passive aggressive nature of J. Cole. It's like you were all in, ready for war to prove you were the best MC against Kendrick, and you cowered, bro. And it's almost like Port Antonio is so polarizing because it kind of is a microcosm of your indecisive, I'm talking about J. Cole, his indecisive, passive-aggressive nature. You can't come out and say you're the best and I'm the nicest with the pen when you threw the first shots and then you ran completely in the other direction once the action started getting heavy, when Kendrick responded. I'm sorry, that's a bitch move. I don't care how great or lyrically skilled you are. It's weak. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get more into it, but you got to understand, hip hop's a blood sport. I don't care how nice you are. Everybody's gonna come for your head if you're that nice, and you got to be able to defend that. That's what being king of hip hop, king of New York, king of whatever region, whatever era you are. That is what it's all about. So anyway, let's go on. Let's carry on with some of the video.
So I don't think you can take it all back with an apology, but if that's not in his spirit to continue it, I get it. Drake did do a lot, as far as giving him his #1 hit record with First Person Shooter. I think, when you put yourself in this space and you talk that big talk, you got to continue to talk. I mean, apologizing kind of contradicts all the big talk you've been talking on these features, right? So, but it's hard. But his pen is still deadly.
But you agree with his talk, because you're saying he's the nicest out of the bunch. So you agree with his talking points that he is the nicest.
I do agree with that, but I do agree. I agree he's the nicest, but I think it's okay to battle without apologizing, and without getting personal too. You can battle somebody. I mean, you're gonna say a battle is always gonna be inherently personal, right? But you can battle, take some personal shots without being disrespectful. I thought what he did on Might Delete Later was in bounds. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't saying that, he was doing something with his wife, or he was just saying, look, your albums are whack. You know what I'm saying? You fake conscious. I mean, I think that's within bounds. That's barbershop battle. You can talk. You can like you talked about battle rap earlier, right?
Right.
They be saying crazy stuff when them battle rappers, but I'll shoot your face. But it's just rhymes, man. So that's where I'm at with it. I thought Port Antonio was a dope record. I'm looking forward to the fall off. I'm not one to saying that I'm not, ready for it. I'm ready for it. I think it's going to be something that, I think it's going to be the album of the year.
Yeah.
and I'm not a big J. Cole fan, but I'm just me as a fan of hip hop, a student of hip hop. You can tell when somebody's on the next level of rhyming. He's on the next level, and I'm hoping we get more of that from Port Antonio.
All right, I want to pause it here. See, now this guy, you caping, bro. You caping for J. Cole. And you almost sound as contradictory as J. Cole sounded on the song. You want to go and concede and say, by far, I think J. Cole is the nicest lyrically, and he showed his lyrical skill on Port Antonio, and he proved that he's lyrically the best. Yet you want to contradict and give a pass for him not battling, or as he said, taking a gentleman's approach to battling and not getting personal with it. J. Cole's above that. He's too for the culture to get personal like Kendrick and Drake did. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, bro. If you're the greatest, it's a blood sport. You know what I mean? When Nas and Jay-Z went at it, they went all out, full bore on each other. They called out their significant others. They talked about, people's daughters. I mean, I remember Jay said something about I left condoms in the baby seat, all of that stuff. And those are the two, in my opinion, Jay-Z and Nas are the two greatest MCs of all time. They didn't have a gentleman's approach to battling. You know what I mean? And for you to take that stance, it's almost like you're making an excuse for J. Cole as, oh, he's too good to battle because he's not going to go below the belt the way that Kendrick and Drake did. You know what I mean? That's bullshit, bro. If you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. And number one thing, don't try and take sub shots on Might Delete Later and come out with a flat all-out diss record on 7 Minute Drill. That's total BS. And to go and say, oh, well, he's still lyrically skilled and lyrically the nicest. Well, dog, you ran from the cover. You ran from the battle. You know what I mean? It's like you threw rocks and you ran the other way. You can't do that if you're the best MC. If you're the best MC in the game, you got to prove that you're better than all the competition. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old school, but enough of the, oh, he's too lyrically, politically correct to have a real battle, because lyrically he's more skilled and he doesn't throw mud. You know what I mean? Fuck that. It's no holds barred in battle, man. No holds barred. And you got to come with it, even if it means going below the belt. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Let's go on a little bit.
You know, and the
No doubt.
substance also follow. To you, sir.
No doubt. Well, your opinion is close to mine. You know, it's probably, you know, along the same lines as mine. But I'm just a little different. Now, granted, you guys all know I'm gonna have a different opinion. I came in the door, but the first thing I came in the door talking about was the, you know, lyricism, you know, punchlines, entendres. I talked about literary devices. I talked about these being used as tools in a battle correctly. Because a person that knows how to use those tools correctly will probably not lose a battle. That's just being honest. If you try to battle me, you're probably gonna lose. I mean, but I'm from an era where you battle, right? That, and J. Cole is from that era. Kendrick is from that era. Drake is from that era. So, but here's the thing: we all gotta keep in mind, right? And one side note, you mentioned unity, right? Unity is important. Peace to the Culture United, who recently did their first show. Unity is important. I tried to have unity in this space. I may still leave that door open, but it's difficult, right? For an example, and this is no shot at Mike. I don't take shots at anybody like that, but definitely not Mike. But say Mike is an MC, I'm an MC. So if I say, yo, Mike, I think I'm a better MC than you, he's supposed to say, no, you're not. I'm a better MC than you. That's what he's supposed to say. So because I believe as an MC, if you're writing your rhymes, you're supposed to write it from the perspective of I'm the best. So that's what Cole where he gets his bars from the perspective of I'm the best. So if Mike says, okay, well, you're not better than me, I'm better than you. And I say, okay, so we got a battle, right? So how do Mike and I battle without it turning into something other than just a battle of lyricism? And I made this point earlier because again, the long-term goal would be to work together as a team. So I can't go in and just try to destroy this person because that's, you know, am I displaying skills then, or am I displaying just a want to publicly lynch this person? Well, that, you know, the latter is not what I'm trying to do. So we have to come up with a way where we can battle without trying to destroy the other person, because for 20 years it's been about destroying the other person's career.
Yo.
Yeah, I want to stop it there. I'll come back to it. I think this guy's a total fraud. This guy, I mean, how are you going to say you're the best in the game, but if somebody comes with a nasty diss song, how are you going to say, well, I'm not going to go below the belt because I'm too lyrically skilled and I'm too for the culture for that? You know, fuck that. It's a blood sport, bro. I could tell this dude never battle rapped. You know what I mean? He clearly didn't battle rap. But no, battling is going below the belt. I mean, and if Cole has this notion that, oh, I didn't want to get into a mudslinging contest and I didn't want to get into the internet wars and all of that, you know what I mean? That's one thing. But listen, you got to fight fire with fire. I don't care what you say. You got to fight fire with fire. You can't just go and say that.
But that's what rappers.
You can't just go and say, you know, oh, it's got to be politically correct battling in order to prove you're the nicest. Fuck that. No. If he's slinging mud, you got to sling mud back. No. That's just a weak way of looking at being an MC. A weak way of being an MC, in my opinion. And I think this dude is soft. This dude, whatever his name is, that just gave his opinion. I think this dude is soft. Fuck that. Nah, you got to go and take out and destroy that person's career. That's how 50 got on top. I mean, that's how Nas destroyed Jay-Z's character on Ether. You know what I mean? Going back to Pac and Biggie, same thing with Tupac. I mean, you got to go for the jugular vein, bro. You can't do a half politically correct diss record because you might be semi-cool or cool to some person. No. Fuck that. Anyway, let's go on.
Fear the most. They fear a non-personal battle. The more than they fear a personal battle. You know what I mean? Because and one thing, going back to the Nas point, did Nas go back at it with Cormega? Or did he just mention Cormega? The part of the fear right there, the fear of exploring new ideas.
Personally, I can speak for this platform. No one on this platform wanted to see K-Dot, Drake, or Cole's careers ended. We want to see who's the nicest, right? And I think Cole had been talking that talk on that whole feature run, right? He was talking that talk, right? He was talking that talk on First Person Shooter. I don't think the masses made him talk like that. He was saying he was the
of course.
He was saying he was the nicest. He was saying he had 2 classics ready to drop. He was saying that, you know, other artists don't have the energy around them. He was saying these things, right? It wasn't us propelling him to say that, right? He was the one talking about first person, talking that talk on First Person Shooter, right? And then he was the one that dropped I'm Ready 2020.
He's supposed to rap like that. If you're not telling me you're the best rapper that ever lived, I don't know if I want to hear you rap. Because if you haven't convinced yourself, it takes a little bit of craziness to reach that bar. But if you haven't convinced yourself that you're the best rapper ever, I don't know if I want to hear you rap.
Right. So I get that, but he was talking about the big 3 and he's numero uno. And it was just friendly banter. He put out Might Delete Later. Some of those bars were personal. And, you know, he did that. You know what I mean? Nobody made him do that.
I get it. I think that we're the first people that's going to say we just wanted to hear a constructive battle. I think everybody else wants to see somebody lyrically die.
What the hell do you mean by that? We want to see a constructive lyrical battle. What the fuck does that mean? It's like, no, bro. Like, these 2 guys are soft. These guys sound like they got J. Cole. They sound like J. Cole cronies for real. It's like you can't be the best and display passive aggressive behavior like that. You just can't. And I just don't know. These guys are just, come on. They're irritating me now.
Artistically die. I think we're the only ones that want to see a artistic, constructive battle. I don't think nobody else in the space wants to see that. They want to see all-out war and destruction because that's what we've been conditioned into doing. We have to dismantle what we've been conditioned to think. And that's the part of the fear right there. The fear of exploring new ideas feel like betraying long-held beliefs. And that's where we're at, because traditionally a battle means full out destroying your opponent. Yes. It does not mean battling to show that you are the more skilled artist. It means destroy. That's what we come from. So none of us are thinking like, oh yeah, we want to see Kendrick and Cole go back and forth and show who's the better rapper. No, we want to see one person not be able to survive in the game after, meaning their stock drops. And after this battle, nobody's checking for your music no more because the other person destroyed you fully. That's what we're looking for. And I'm saying that mentality is where we're getting stuck because we're not progressing.
He needs to cut that shit out, dude. He needs to cut that shit out. Well, if that's the case, then J. Cole just retire then. Just retire. Because, listen, and I'm around these guys' age, right? We're probably from the same age cohort. So basically, they're coming from the 90s, early 2000s era of hip hop. When 50 Cent came in the game, He was out to destroy every great rapper and great crew in New York, and he didn't give a fuck how he did it. And that's how he became king of New York. That's the bloodthirsty mentality you have to have. You just do have to have it. There's no gentleman's way of battling to prove you're the best lyrically skilled. If that's the case, why don't you do a battle rap then? Why don't you just go see the battle rap circuits? You know what I mean? Go see that. You know what I mean? But when it comes to being the best in the game, nah, fuck that. You got to go all out. This dude sounds so soft. And he has the nerve to call himself a real MC. Like, come on, man. It's a joke. You're definitely caping for J. Cole on this and his soft, passive-aggressive behavior. It's a joke.
Aggressive battle would mean we change the model of battling. We have to change the model. I got a friend that could put your lyrics into a computer and tell you how many different forms of wordplay you used, how precise you are with your lyrics, how on point your flow was, how everything. It will straight up give you all the stats.
Come on.
So we can technically see bar for bar, literally, who was the better rapper. But rappers don't want to take it, don't want to go there because they're more afraid of skill than they are of personal attacks. And that's crazy to me, to be honest. I know
that's BS, man. Come on. You know, it's not like we're back in the 1980s, you know, doing beatbox in the park, bro. I mean, you got to get with the times. You got to get with the times, bro. And in the classic era of hip hop, the Biggie, the Pac era, the Nas, the J era, going into the 50 Cent era, not one of them dudes, Ice Cube's another one, not one of those greats said we're going to have a gentleman's approach to battling and make it about showing we're the best lyrically skilled. Nah. It was, oh, you think you the best? No, fuck you. I'm going to expose you for everything that you really are or not because I'm the best. That's what it's all about. And the thing about it is J. Cole, he tried to come out on that and he tucked tail and ran. That's a bitch move, period.
I just said a lot right there. But we have to change the model of battling because these artists don't want to battle. They're scared to battle. And I'm like, how you come from the culture I'm from and you scared to battle? We used to battle face to face. We used to battle more than one MC in one night. We battled the whole crew, meaning you go first, I battle you, get you out the way. Your next guy goes, I get him out the way. We battle whole crews and demolish the whole crew. That's the era we come from. So what has happened that we can't do that no more? What happened was, this is no diss. What happened was Pac and Big, 50 and Ja, and all these battles that weren't lyrical, they were personal. So now we think all the battles are personal when that's just not the case. It's just not the case. Most of these battles are not personal if they've never done anything to each other in the street, you know?
Well, bro, if that's the case, then you don't belong. If you take that approach and you're any kind of rapper, you know what I mean, then you might as well not reply to any disses towards you. And basically, you know, you might as well just delete yourself from the competition of being the best. If you can't stand the heat, get out the fucking kitchen. Like straight up. There's a price to pay for being number one in the game. People are going to come at you and going to come at you strong. You know what I mean? They're going to get personal because they want what you have. If you're the king or the so-called king, they want what you have. So of course they're going to go below the belt. Of course they're going to get personal. I mean, it's all out. Or else, you know what I mean? And in my opinion, if you can't handle that, then just withdraw yourself from number one spot in hip hop conversation. I'm sorry. He's almost saying, well, Pac and Big wasn't negative. That was the best era of hip hop, bro. That was the classic era. Fuck being personal. You know what I mean? It was a classic era. And every dude went all out their hardest to take each other's heads off. It's a blood sport, bro. Get over it.
You know what I mean?
Right, right. So if we're not going to get a full-fledged battle, J. Cole has removed himself from it. Then I guess we can only thing we can do now is look at the music, right? And we know the fall off is coming. We know that Kendrick has a Super Bowl performance. We know an album should be coming, and we're hearing rumblings that Drake will drop new music as well. So maybe that'll be the judge, right? We'll see who has the best album of 2024 if they do drop.
Yeah.
But
And
I think Port Antonio made me excited again
that was
for
dope.
for the fall off, and I've been excited for the fall off since that feature run. And I'm hoping we get it soon. I think the game needs it. I think we need a new Kendrick album, and that way we can instead of all this talking back and forth, just put the music out. Let us be the judge as hip hop consumers and fans. Let us be the judge. Let us see who got the dopest album, right? And I'm putting my money on Cole. So
Yeah,
I'm putting my money on Cole that Cole will have a better album than the next Drake album, and I put my money on that Cole's album will be better than the next Kendrick album.
All right, I'm gonna end it now. I've seen enough of this recording or what have you, but yeah. In the end of the day, and I want to address a couple points that he left off on. Before I get to really my last take on Port Antonio, because I have some new theories behind it. Now, all of a sudden, and this is how you can tell these dudes are caping for J. Cole. They're making excuses for him being passive aggressive, saying the battle got too personal, it went too below the belt, and J. Cole is above that, almost insinuating that he's for the culture. When Kendrick blared out on Euphoria, I'm what the culture is feeling. And he is what the culture is feeling. You can't claim you're the culture, put out a diss record, and take sub shots at Kendrick on your latest album, your latest project, then tuck and run and say, I don't want to battle because I'm for the culture. Fuck that. You got scared, bro. You didn't want to be part of it. You couldn't take the heat that was in the kitchen. And see, that's where I can't get along with that. And see, now you notice what these dudes are trying to do now. Oh, well, let's just make it about the music. So let's just see who has the better album. And I got my money on Cole because now it's about Fall Off versus the next Kendrick album. And we'll really see who's the best. It's obvious that you're just going to sweep under the rug that Kendrick got dissed first, and J. Cole came at his neck first. You just want to sweep that under the rug like it never happened and say, oh, well, let's make it about the albums now. Then we could really see who's the better MC. Well, get the fuck out of here, dude. These dudes are full of shit. I kind of agree with what Mike D said, but my overall take on this is it's so polarizing because J. Cole is showing that he's a nice MC. He's showing lyrical skill. He's showing all of that. I get it. But at the same time, number one, it's just way too passive aggressive after you came out with the first shots and you wanted to make it personal. I don't give a fuck what you said. You know, when you came out dissing his album, dissing his work, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was mid and all that. Mr. Morale and Big Steppers was better than pretty much 80 to 90% of Cole's catalog, bro. Straight up. So I don't know where you're coming with that, but you were going to make it personal. I don't know what made you withdraw from the battle, but you were going to make it personal. My theory behind Port Antonio, after I listened to it again, I think Port Antonio is more an apology to Drake, but it almost drew more of a line in the sand with Kendrick. Like, I really listened to it because that was really more of a Drake apology. At first, we thought it was a Drake diss, and it wasn't. It's more of a Drake apology. And I'm gonna be flat honest with you, man. I think Cole likes being friends with Drake because he likes the mainstream perks he's going to get. I firmly believe that the partnership from First Person Shooter and him going out on tour dates, Cole is using this for promo for the Fall Off. He wants that. For whatever reason, Cole is going all in on Fall Off as being his greatest album. So I think he wants to be around these mainstream figures like Drake and some of these rappers. So he's more acceptable to mainstream consumption. So all of this shit about, oh, Cole's about the culture, and that's why he pulled out, is a bunch of horse shit. He's about the money. He wants that mainstream spot. He definitely wants that. And as a result, that's why I think he apologized to Drake. And he basically is low-key saying, Drake, I'm kind of on your side on this one. So my whole thing is, if I'm Kendrick, listen, I might even have some bars on Kendrick's next album about J. Cole. Because let's go through the timeline. J. Cole came out on First Person Shooter and kind of made the big three line or whatever. You could say he was subbing Kendrick, but I think it was more a peace offering because I think Cole wanted all three of them to work together. But then he saw the bad blood before with Kendrick and Drake and saw that wasn't going to happen. But I definitely think once he said, motherfuck the big three, it's just Big Me, Cole had to address that. And that's when he came with 7 Minute Drill. That's why he took the subs on Might Delete Later towards Kendrick. And he wanted to pull back and say, oh, well, Kendrick's my brother. I don't want to diss him. You know, I just want to withdraw myself from this, knowing that there was a lot of smoke coming. But now on Port Antonio, it looks like you're almost trying to draw that line in the sand again against Kendrick. And it's almost as if you're kind of apologizing to Drake to maybe team up in the future. So I see right through Cole's moves. And in the end of the day, I think Cole is a hypocrite with this song. Flat out. He's a flat out hypocrite, even though it's lyrically nice. And I think a lot of these guys, like the two guys on According to Hip Hop, I think the reason why that they're coming that way is because they're tired of the battle of Kendrick and Drake. They're frustrated. They want a third-party candidate. So that's why they're saying, well, I'll put my money on Cole because to me, he's the nicest of all of them. And he doesn't have to go below the belt to battle people because he takes the gentleman's approach to battling and doesn't go below the belt and doesn't make it personal, which I don't get, dude. I don't get. It's more you're just not feeling Drake and Kendrick and the attention they're getting, and you want to just run behind Cole. And I know people like this. I know people like this in my Facebook group. You know what I mean? That they're just so anti Kendrick and Drake because, you know, they're tired of it. And so they want to go behind another candidate, and that's J. Cole at the end of the day. So when I had to sum it up, yeah, I changed my mind about this song, man. I think it's a hypocritical song. At first, I was like, this is really nice. I think it shows and exposes J. Cole's hypocrisy even more. Do I want to be king? Do I not want to be king? Do I want to be the best? Do I not want to be the best? Oh, yeah, lyrically, you can't touch me. And if I would have battled, it would have ended with me on top. Nah, we're not playing that game, J. Cole. We're not doing that. You're a little bit of a fraud on this one and a hypocrite. Sorry to say. Anyway, tell me what you think. Why is Port Antonio so polarizing? Definitely leave your points in the comments. Tell me what you think. You know, it continues to get debated heavy online. And did Cole make the right move? Really, I would have just done without this and just started fresh with a new rollout for Fall Off. But it looks like this is his rollout for Fall Off, which I don't agree with. So anyway, I'll catch up with you later this weekend. I got some other reviews to catch up on, so stay tuned for some new videos. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Hip Hop Roundtable Reviews. And y'all have a good night. I'll catch up with y'all later. All right. Peace.